Chapter 1 of Life and Death and Other Stories and Legends. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Marianne Bodorf. Life and Death and Other Stories and Legends by Henryk Sienkiewicz. Translated by Jeremiah Curtin. Chapter 1. Life and Death, a Hindu Legend. There were two regions lying side by side, as it were two immense plains, with a clear river flowing between them. At one point the banks of this river sloped gently to a shallow ford in the shape of a pond with transparent calm water. Beneath the azure surface of this ford could be seen its golden bed, from which grew stems of lotus. On these stems bloomed white and rose-colored flowers above the mirror of water. Rainbow-hued insects and butterflies circled around the flowers and among the palms of the shore, while higher up in the sunny air birds gave out sounds like those of silver bells. The pond was the passage from one region to the other. The first region was called the Plain of Life, the second the Plain of Death. The supreme and almighty Brahma had created both plains, and had commanded the good Vishnu to rule in the region of life, while the wise Shiva was the lord of the region of death. "Do what ye understand to be best," said Brahma to the two rulers. Hence in the region belonging to Vishnu, life moved with all its activity. The sun rose and set, day followed night, and night followed day. The sea rose and fell, in the sky appeared clouds big with rain. The earth was soon covered with forests, and crowded with beasts, birds, and people. So that all living creatures might increase greatly and multiply, the kindly God created love, which he made to be happiness also. After this Brahma summoned Vishnu and said to him, "Thou canst produce nothing better on earth, and since heaven is created already by me, do thou rest and let those whom thou callest people weave the thread of life for themselves unassisted." Vishnu obeyed this command, and henceforth men ordered their own lives. From their good thoughts came joy, from their evil ones sorrow, and they saw soon with wonder that life was not an unbroken rejoicing, and that with the life thread which Brahma had mentioned, they wove out two webs as it were, with two faces. On one of these was a smile, there were tears in the eyes of the other. They went then to the throne of Vishnu and made complaint to him. "O Lord, life is grievous through sorrow." "Let love give you happiness," said Vishnu in answer. At these words they went away, quieted, for love indeed scattered their sorrows, which in view of the happiness given, seemed so insignificant as to be undeserving of notice. But love is also the mighty mother of life. Hence, though the region which Vishnu ruled was enormous, it was soon insufficient for the myriads of people. Soon there was not fruit enough upon trees there, nor berries enough upon bushes, nor honey enough from cliff bees. Therefore all the men who were wisest fell to cutting down forests for the clearing of land, for the sowing of seed, for the winning of harvests. Thus labor appeared among people. Soon all had to turn to it, and labor became not merely the basis of life, but life itself very nearly. But from labor came toil, and toil produced weariness. Great throngs of people appeared before Vishnu a second time. "O Lord," explained they, stretching their hands to him, "toil has weakened our bodies. Weariness spreads through our bones. We are yearning for rest, but life drives us always to labor." To this Vishnu answered, "The great and mighty Brahma has not allowed me to shape life any further, but I am free to make that which will cause it to halt, and rest will come then to you." And Vishnu made sleep. Men received this new gift with rejoicing, and very soon saw in it one of the greatest boons given by the deity thus far. In sleep vanished care and vexation. During sleep strength returned to the weary. Sleep, like a cherishing mother, wiped away tears of sorrow, and surrounded the heads of the slumbering with oblivion. So people glorified sleep, and repeated, "Be blessed, for thou art far better than life in our waking hours." And they had one regret only, that it did not continue forever. After sleep came awakening, and after awakening came labor, with fresh toil and weariness. This thought soon began to torture all men so sorely that for the third time they stood before Vishnu. "O Lord," said they, "thou hast given us a boon which, though great and unspeakably precious, is incomplete as it now appears. Wilt thou grant us that sleep be eternal?" Vishnu wrinkled his brow then in anger at this their insistence, and answered, "I cannot give what ye ask of me, but go to the neighboring ford, and beyond you will find that for which ye are seeking." The people heard the god's voice and went on in legions immediately. They went to the ford, and halting there, gazed at the shore lying opposite. Beyond the clear, calm, and flower-bedecked surface stretched the plain of death, or the kingdom of Shiva. The sun never rose and never set in that region. There was no day and no night there, but the whole plain was of a lily-colored absolute clearness. No shadow fell in that region, for clearness inhered there so thoroughly that it seemed the real essence of Shiva's dominions. The region was not empty. As far as the eye could reach there were heights and valleys where beautiful trees stood in groups, and on those trees climbing plants, where ivy and grapevines were hanging from the cliff sides. But the cliffs and the tree trunks and the slender plant stems were almost transparent, as if formed out of light-grown material. The leaves of the ivy had in them a delicate roseate light as of dawn, and all was in marvelous rest, such as none on the plane of life had experienced. All as if sunk in serene meditation, as if dreaming and resting in continuous slumber, unthreatened by waking. In the clear air not the slightest breeze was discovered, not a flower was seen moving, not a leaf showed a quiver. The people who came to the shore with loud conversation and clamor grew silent at sight of these lily-colored, motionless spaces, and whispered, "What quiet! How everything rests there in clearness! Oh yes, there is rest and unbroken repose in that region." So some, namely those who were weariest, said after a silence, "Let us find the sleep which is surely unbroken." And they entered the water. The rainbow-hued surface opened straightway before them, as if wishing to lighten the passage. Those who remained on the shore began now to call after them, but no man turned his head, and all hurried forward with willingness and lightly, attracted more and more by the charm of that wonderful region. The throng which gazed from the shore of life at them noted this also, that as they moved forward their bodies grew gradually less heavy, becoming transparent and purer, more radiant, as it were blending with that absolute clearness which filled the whole plain of death, Shiva's kingdom. And when they had passed and disposed themselves amid flowers and at trees or the bases of cliffs to repose there, their eyes closed, but their faces had on them not only an expression of ineffable peace, but also of happiness such as love itself on the plane of life had never given. Seeing this, those who had halted behind said one to another, "The region belonging to Shiva is sweeter and better." And they began to pass to that shore in increasing numbers. There went in solemn procession old men, and men in ripe years, and husbands and wives, and mothers who led children, and maidens and youths, and then thousands and millions of people pushed on toward that calm passage, till at last the plain of life was depopulated almost entirely. Then Vishnu, whose task it was to keep life from extinction, was frightened because of the advice which he had given in his anger, and not knowing what to do else hastened quickly to Brahma. "Save life, O Creator," said he. "Behold, thou hast made the inheritance of death now so beautiful, so serene, and so blissful, that all men are leaving my kingdom." "Have none remained with thee there?" inquired Brahma. "Only one youth and one maiden, who are in love beyond measure. They renounce endless bliss rather than close their eyes and gaze on each other no longer." "What dost thou wish, then?" "Make the region of death less delightful, less happy. If not, even those two, when their springtime of love shall be ended, will leave me and follow the others." Brahma thought for a moment and answered, "No, oh no, I will not decrease beauty and happiness in the region of death, but I will do something for life in its own realm. Henceforward people will not pass to the other shore willingly. They must be forced to it." When he had said this he made a thick veil out of darkness which no one could see through. And next he created two terrible beings. One of these he named Fear, and the other Pain. He commanded them then to hang that black veil at the passage. Thereafter Vishnu's kingdom was as crowded with life as it had been, for though the region of death was as calm, as serene, and as blissful as ever, people dreaded the passage. End of chapter 1.